Welcome to this week's Financial Flash. I'm Bradford Aylin, Private Wealth Manager at Stiles Financial. This week, I want to spend a few minutes talking about the job market. The job market is always important, but it has been especially interesting lately because the headline numbers still look okay, while the experience for many job seekers feels more difficult. The latest jobs report showed that the U.S. economy added 57,000 jobs in June, and the unemployment rate was 4.2%. By historical standards, that is a relatively low unemployment rate. So this is not a job market that is falling apart. At the same time, hiring has clearly cooled. Job growth was weaker than expected, and prior months were revised lower. So the message is not that the job market is bad, it is that conditions are no longer as strong as they were a few years ago. The best way to describe it is this: the labor market is cooling, but not cracking. One useful way to think about today's labor market is that it feels different depending on where someone is in their career. For people already established in their careers, conditions still seem fairly stable. Layoffs remain relatively low, and there are still millions of job openings across the economy. That does not mean every industry is strong, but overall, we are not seeing widespread layoffs. The more challenging part appears to be for people trying to get started, especially recent college graduates and entry-level workers. Recent graduate unemployment has been higher than the overall unemployment rate, and underemployment has also been elevated. Underemployment simply means someone is working, but not necessarily in a job that fully uses their degree, skills, or training. In plain English, a recent graduate may have a job, but it may not be the career track role they were hoping for. There are a few reasons this may be happening. Companies have become more cautious with hiring. Many entry-level jobs now ask for prior experience, and technology may be changing how companies train junior employees. This is further evidenced when talking with Kristen Evanoff, Head of Operations at Latitude Marketing.
I think in the agency world, I think firms are hiring very intentionally. I think every hire has to make an impact. So they're looking beyond like a resume. They're really looking at how ambitious and curious is this person. But I think that they're looking for like how people are adaptable and in solving real world problems.
For those trying to get a leg up on the competition, it can have something to do with your networking skills and who you're connected to. An inside connection can be the difference between making it past the algorithm or getting passed over. From an economic standpoint, the job market matters because jobs support income, and income supports consumer spending. Consumer spending is a major driver of the U.S. economy. If people feel secure in their jobs, they are more likely to spend money, travel, buy homes, and make larger purchases. If hiring slows too much, people may become more cautious, and that can eventually affect company earnings. For markets, the job market can cut both ways. A strong job market supports spending and corporate profits, but if it is too strong, it can add pressure to wages and inflation. A cooler job market can reduce inflation pressure and give the Federal Reserve more flexibility as long as the cooling remains gradual. That is why the labor market is one of the most important areas to watch. It affects consumer spending, inflation, interest rates, corporate earnings, and ultimately, market expectations. For investors, one job report should not change a long-term plan, but labor market trends are important because they help us understand the broader economic backdrop. This is also why having a plan matters. Economic data will always move around month to month. The goal is not to react emotionally to every headline, but to understand what the data is telling us and how it may impact your portfolio, your retirement income plan, and your broader financial picture. As we move through the rest of the year, we will continue watching the labor market to see whether this cooling remains gradual and orderly. The key takeaway is that the labor market appears to be cooling, but not cracking. For long-term investors, that means it is important to stay informed, stay disciplined, and make sure your financial plan is built to handle different economic environments. Thank you for joining me today. If you have questions about the economy, the markets, or whether your financial plan is positioned for the environment ahead, we are here to help. Have a great week, and we will see you in the next Financial Flash.
Educational content by the professionals at Stiles Financial Services, delivering customized portfolios aligned to your unique wealth goals.